up, guys? What's up, my Archfiends of Chaos? This is your King of Knife. It's about time EX Turk, and I just watched Final Fantasy Peasants video about Arden's mastermind stuff in it. There's actually just one thing that actually got to me in this. I'm sure, sorry, I'm forceful habit, but anyways, what really got to me on this is it's the fact it's the fact that what if it comes to the fact that Ideolas is not really a bad guy. And this is what I got from his theory about Arden. Yes, he could try to do all this stuff by himself, but he needed the Empire, and so he created that storm using Shiva's body to freeze Niflheim into poor starvation, thus making Ideolas desperate to save his people. And Arden actually told an alternative facts to Ideolas, and the alternative fact was that the crystal could save his people, that the crystal could cure the Star Scourge from him and everybody else. So this actually changes things, and I do apologize for the other videos where I actually, called out Ideolas as a villain, because I know this sounds crazy. Now, bear with me. I know this is going to be one of those, like, I'm smoking a lot of pot type of deal, but this ain't it. I think it's possible that Ideolas only did all this stuff was to save his people. They're on the brink of starvation. He even said in King's Glaive to Regis that his seas could, pale in comparison to insomnia. Not to mention, he got disgusted when the demons were attacking Insomnia and says, yes, get rid of everybody. Also dispose of the demons. Pretty much just forsake what we use for our Magitech. So maybe there's actually really good in Ideolas. I think really Ideolas is actually really a good, was actually pretty much a good guy. He was never actually really bad at all. He was manipulated by Arden, and I think this is why I think him and Ravis Ideolas and Ravis got along until the last part of the, until the last parts of the game. They both want to save their country. Ravis wants to save the country from the Niflheim Empire and Arden's control. Ideolas wants to save his people in Niflheim. So he has to do everything it means necessary. That's why he put all the rest of his funds in Magitech. That's why he hired Chief Scientist Bethsicia Verstale to do what he did. To create Magitech using civilians, because they're desperate. At the end of the day, Ideolas is just trying to save his peoples. Yes, he looks like a bad guy. Yes, he's most likely going to go to hell for the stuff he did. But maybe he's not as bad as what you think. Maybe he's only like I said before, Ideolas is only a front. Ideolas is only a front for all this evil. He was only a face. And like I said about politicians before, politicians are only the face. They're only this. The face. There's always someone behind the politician that has even more jurisdiction behind the politician. And in this case, Ideolas since he's the chancellor, which is a very high governing position. He's a high chancellor. He pretty much Ideolas has to go through at least some of his stuff in order to get some things, in order to get more stuff. Because Ideolas is the one who bought the idea to Ideolas and got him on to this by lying to Ideolas and saying that the crystal could save everybody in Niflheim. And Ideolas is desperate, which explains a lot. He actually respected King Regis, despite that him and Regis were enemies war enemies based off the fact that Regis would not fork over the crystal. He was pushed to this extreme. So Ideolas, well, you know what? I'm sorry. Condolences to you, but I have to kill you. I have to take the crystal. I have to. I just look at my people. Just look at my people. Look at my starving people in Niflheim. You think Gralia? You think this is funny? I gotta do what I gotta do, man. But no, seriously, Ideolas was only following the orders of, was only not following the orders, but following Arden's plan, because this is what made him a little bit more money, and that's why they took over territories and stuff like that. Because Ideolas put his all in Magitech, all his campaign money and stuff like that, he put into Magitech, because if he took over properties, then, you know, then his people gets to eat, they get the cure of the Star Scourge. And what Idolus is actually really scared of is the Star Scourge more than everything else, because, like I said about Grallia, I think Grallia, it has a potential. Grallia, it was the first potential city to actually get the Scourge before everything else. Everything else got the Scourge, but, you know, you know, since people in Grallia are poor and it's the hood and stuff like that, there's not very many resources. And Idolus is really scared because these are his people. I mean, you'd want your family to survive, wouldn't you? You'd want your family to survive. Pretty much, if the true evil was actually Arden, because Idolus is desperate. That's why Idolus fell to this low level. And then when he started changing into Pharaohus, that's when the man that used to be Ideolas Aldercrapt died, and Pharaohus took over. And that's when that was the time when Ravus challenged Idolus' rule. It wasn't really Idolus. It was actually Pharaohus that was taking over. Because Idolus was starting to disagree a little bit with Arden. And then, you know, he probably made, you know, Verstale put, you know, the demon gene, you know, made the Scourge accelerate through Idolus' body. So Idolus could not just, you know, turn against Arden and Verstale. You know, I think it's possible that that's why, you know, he was turning into Pharaohus. Because the way for them to, because Idolus didn't like everything Arden did. He was disgusted about the demons being around and stuff like that. That's why he said destroy. That's why he told Arden to destroy them. Idolus was only organizing this stuff just to save his people, and Arden actually just manipulated him and told him lies about the crystal. The crystal didn't. I mean, it has power, but that's not what it did. In fact, the crystal was gonna, the way Arden was gonna use the crystal, it was gonna increase the Star Scourge. It was going to increase everything that Arden wanted. You know, because that's how grudge-ridden Arden is. Idolus was only saving his people because he thought he was doing what was right. You know. Now, you know, the motives were good, but the execution was actually wrong, you know, and because of that, he's also now completely infected with the Star Scourge and is now Pharaohus. Idolus is dead now, technically, you know. Now he's the Scourge, and there's a good reason why Arden went back to kill Pharaohus, so Pharaohus couldn't ask for his throne back in Niflheim. So even after doing all this hard work for Arden, he ended up betraying Idolus. He ended up betraying Idolus. Yes, Arden is nothing but undiluted evil. Because he ended up betraying Idolus right after. He killed his own, you know, the people that agreed with him. You know? So, nonetheless with that, Idolus was only trying to do one thing. That was to save his people. That's why he put his investment in Magitech. Because Niflheim, if you read in the notes in episode Prompto, it used to be a desert place. It used to be a desert, but because the climate change turned to a frozen, you know, a frozen wasteland, it made people freeze to death. It made people starve. It made the Star Scourge so bad that, you know, civilians of Niflheim, you know, it was almost common to see purple, you know, purple skin designs coming from people in Niflheim. And eventually, you know, they would have to, you know, like Verstale says, instead of, you know, instead of disposing these people, give them a purpose by turning them into a full Magitech, and that's what they did to their own people, because they had to. Their people were dying. Then the people, the civilians in Grallia, they were dying. They were dying, but because Arden, you know, killed, you know, Shiva before Jitiana absorbed Shiva and became the new Shiva, you know, her corpse was so destructive it froze pretty much all of Niflheim. Without Idolus didn't even know that's what happened. according to Arden, it was just a tragic accident about the climate change that kills people in Gralia. Thus, Arden has done it again. He's caused Niflheim all this trouble, because Niflheim used to be a pretty nice nation. But he caused them trouble by destroying Shiva's corpse and then rub it into Gentiana on the trip, which, you know, it's deserved. Arden deserves the worst kind of hell you could possibly get. Like I said, I think Arden is even eviler than Kefka. Yeah, sure, Kefka destroyed the world, but Arden has pretty much manipulated everybody to do what they do. He's manipulated the Lucians and making them believe that Niflheim's the enemy. He's manipulated the Niflheim Empire to take over, to destroy Insomnia and take the crystal, and to and to turn innocent civilians into demons. He's done a lot. He's manipulated Ravis to turn his back on Lucians by making him think that it's King Regis' fault, the reason why his mom's dead. Arden has fucked with everybody. Prompto, Noctis, and everybody. He's even used Merilith to kill what I think is Noctis' mother in Brotherhood. You know, he also used the demon Merilith to kill Noctis' mother, just to get Noctis, because he knew Noctis' potential. Arden has pretty much manipulated everybody. So really, if anything else, Ideolas Aldercrapt is actually an anti-hero. You know, sure, up front he's bad, but if you really think about it, Ideolas is desperate. He's desperate to save his own people. So I guess that makes Ideolas Aldercrapt an anti-hero and not a villain. So may the crystal be with you. Let me know in the comments what you think about this theory. And remember, it's only a theory, so don't take it too personal. This is only a theory. So may the crystal be with you. Don't forget to also subscribe to Final Fantasy Peasants channel. So may the crystal be with you. And I'll see you guys later. Don't forget the notification bell.